I'm Ashin Singh. It's Wednesday, August 26th. You've got questions and we've got answers. This is Search, where we're breaking down what you're asking right now in real time. All right, let's get right to it. We've got our Bethany Braun Silva in for Maya Ephraim. Bethany, what are people searching for today?
Hey Ashin, searches around Dolly Parton remain huge today, and the top question is, what cancer did Dolly Parton have? People are also looking up her late husband Carl Dean, her friendship with Kenny Rogers, and her connection to goddaughter Miley Cyrus. And as tributes pour in, people are searching for remembrances from stars, along with classics like Jolene and I Will Always Love You. Meanwhile, South Carolina's Senate race has people searching for the latest election results and who will be on the ballot in November. Candidate names including Annie Andrews, Darlene Graham, and Ralph Norman are all generating interest. And the political conversation is spilling over into searches about life in South Carolina and what it means as midterms approach. And finally, a recall involving thyroid medication is sending people online with questions about their prescriptions. Searchers want to know which medications are currently affected by recalls. We're also seeing broader health questions, including what is hyperthyroidism, its warning signs, along with questions about how to treat it.
A lot to get into today, but obviously today is dominated once again by the passing of Dolly Parton. Thank you, Bethany. We'll check back with you in just a bit. Okay, let's dive a little deeper into the story you guys cannot stop asking about. Dolly Parton passing after a brief battle with cancer, and we've got our Roxy Diaz following the somber news for us. Roxy, appreciate you being here, sis. It's been a little bit over 24 hours since the passing of Dolly Parton, and people want to know more. They want the details. How did she die?
So Dolly died peacefully Tuesday in Nashville at the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, surrounded by loved ones. Now, her rep says that she passed after, quote, a bravely facing a brief battle with cancer. The family hasn't shared what type yet, and this is the tough part. In her last interview, she said she put off her own care while taking care of her husband, Carl, who passed away last March.
It's just so tragic. There's been a lot of search interest in Miley Cyrus finally speaking out after Dolly's death. People are curious about their relationship. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Dolly was Miley's godmother, and since before Miley could talk and walk, we all met her and then met her as Aunt Dolly on Hannah Montana. Miley posted this morning, "The feeling of losing my Aunt Dolly is beyond what feels right to share. Our most sacred moments were private." She added, "I have an angel by my side." She added that Dolly would want her to feel it and write a song about it, and said that their last conversation was about music and metamorphosis.
It's just so special, especially given the news. Roxy, there's been a lot of search interest about Dolly's incredible imagination library. We know that public funding has actually been cut for the library. But a lot of people on search, they're wondering, is it going to continue in some way or some form?
You know what's amazing is while the news was breaking yesterday, Ash, that people were still receiving books from the library. The answer is yes. The Imagination Library posted Tuesday, "The work ahead has never felt more meaningful, and we will carry it forward." It's funded mostly by local partners through lawmakers in a few states have cut their share. Now, still, more than 300 million books have been delivered, 3 million kids served, and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce gave $2 million this summer in lieu of flowers. Dolly's family is asking for donations to go there instead.
That is just incredible. Even after she's passed, she's still giving back. It's really special. But yeah, just before we let you go, Roxy, there's been just a ton of searches about how Dolly actually played a role in announcing her passing. What do we know about her requests as she was ready to let go?
As she planned it all, she asked her nephew Brian Seaver to be the one to tell the world. The funeral will be small and private. The family only will be in attendance in Nashville. She'll rest beside Carl at Woodland Memorial Park, the same place where Porter Wagner, the mentor that she wrote I Will Always Love You for. And in her final request, she said she wanted everything to be plush. She wanted to be in a bed of plushness, plush cotton, because after a life wearing heavy rhinestones, she deserved to be comfortable. And Ash, I want to add to you that in an interview in 2014 for Entertainment Weekly, she even said she was asked which song she would want to be played at her funeral, and she said that she would like the country gospel hymn "If We Never Meet Again" to be sung. It was one of her father, Lee Parton's, favorites.
Just what a special person. The passing of a giant. Roxy Diaz, thank you so much, and we'll see you back for Vibe Check. So appreciate you, sis. All right, let's get back to South Carolina's Senate special runoff election. Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein has answers to all of your questions. Rick Klein, appreciate you being here, man. So the matchup is set. Tell us a little bit about these candidates for the November midterm election in South Carolina, and how do they actually stack up against each other?
Yeah, new Senator Darlene Graham is the candidate now officially on the Republican side to replace her late brother, as she has done on a temporary basis so far. She's going to face Democrat Annie Andrews. She is a medical doctor, a pediatrician from the Charleston area who is running on a platform of healthcare advocacy. She is looking to do something that's rarely done in South Carolina, which is a Democrat actually winning. But Darlene Graham may give a bit of an opening just because of some of the less than stellar performances she's had on the campaign trail over the last couple of weeks. But no matter what happens, South Carolina will, for the first time in its history, elect a woman to United States Senate. Darlene Graham now is there in an appointed capacity. She's looking to fill the entirety of the term that her brother held for so long.
So history being made one way or another. But Rick, I want to hone in on Darlene Graham because we know that she's a political newcomer. What have we heard from President Trump and other Republicans about her candidacy?
Well, President Trump is ecstatic. He put himself on the line in naming her his choice. He didn't have to do that. The Republicans would probably win the seat regardless of who the nominee is, and the other major Republicans, including Ralph Norman, who lost the primary runoff, were all very loyal to Donald Trump. So it's not a question of just political loyalties, but he had a very close personal relationship over the years with Lindsey Graham, and he knew how close Graham was to his sister. He felt strongly about Darlene Graham being the right choice, and he weighed in publicly again when he didn't have to, and maybe more tellingly, his MAGA Inc. Spending, the spending that came in from his political operation dwarfed the spending he's had anywhere else. He has been very reticent to let dollars flow out of his own campaign coffers, and he did allow it to happen to a large degree to get Darlene Graham over the finish line.
Yeah, Rick, and there's been a ton of search interest because you actually mentioned it yourself. South Carolina is a historically Republican state, but people are on search and wondering, is the makeup of the state changing? Is it shifting at all? What do we know about how South Carolina's kind of changed over the past several years?
The state is shifting. And there's certainly a suburban coalition that could potentially make it competitive for Democrats. But most people that I've talked to about this and that weigh in on this think it's a little ways off. Now, Democrats are changing the calculus by having their nominating system for the primaries start in South Carolina in 2028. That might change some of the enthusiasm, but it probably is a ways off. I think the bigger question here is, does Darlene Graham falter any further? And does Andrews overperform enough that the Republicans have to send some resources down to South Carolina when there's so many other states that they'd rather be focused on?
Might be too early to say, but maybe South Carolina is the one that's moving the needle at the November elections. Rick Klein, I appreciate you, man. And time to tee up a nationwide recall of thyroid tablets. I've got our Dr. Darian Sutton here joining us. Dr. Darian, appreciate you being here with us. The FDA is warning that thyroid tablets could be, in quote, super potent. What actually is the drug that they're talking about, and what does super potent mean?
This is a potentially dangerous pharmaceutical error involving what you said, a possibly super potent dose of the thyroid medication. The recall is initiated by Vitruvius Therapeutics. Now, specifically, they are recalling their 30 milligram thyroid tablets. And if you have these medications, you want to check the lot number and the expiration date. The lot number you're looking for is 504950, and the expiration date option is September 30th, 2026. So you want to make sure to double check your medication if you're using these types of meds.
Yeah, Dr. Darian, what actually does super potent mean, and what are some of the risks that come with taking a super potent medication?
So essentially, Alshin, it's too much thyroid inside these thyroid medications, and that can lead to complications. Now, we focus on high-risk groups. That can include older adults, which can lead to heart complications and heart problems. For pregnant patients who might be taking this medication, it can lead to fetal complications and even preterm labor. And then for young children who might be taking these medications, especially for an extended period of time, it can be associated with problems of growth and development.
Yeah, it feels like the thyroid is something that we don't ever actually think about until something is totally wrong. What are some symptoms of thyroid imbalance?
So to understand this, you want to think of your thyroid as kind of a gas pedal on your metabolism. So when you have too much, or when you have an overactive thyroid or hyperthyroid, that can be associated with symptoms of anxiety. Sometimes you're feeling hot and sweaty. It can even include heart arrhythmias or palpitations, frequent bowel movements, and even unexplained weight loss. When you're having an underactive thyroid or hypothyroid, that can come with symptoms of feeling cold, feeling tired, fatigued, and weak, sometimes constipation, unexplained weight gain, and even in certain cases, depression. Now, if you can can understand these symptoms can be variable from person to person, and they can look like many things. So you want to make sure to talk to your doctor and get the appropriate testing.
Yeah, Dr. Darren, before I let you go, some quick tips for people at home who are watching. How do you actually manage thyroid issues?
Well, in the emergency room, actually, we manage them when there are emergencies, and it's typically rare, often when you have too much or too little thyroid. Most of the thyroid issues can be managed in an outpatient setting. When patients come in, we're doing the vital sign checking, blood pressure, heart rate, making sure that all those numbers are stable, and then sometimes we'll test their thyroid right there and then. If you have too little, we can replace it. If you have too much, sometimes we'll give thyroid blocking medications or other medications to decrease those symptoms. But at the end of it, you want to make sure to have conversations with your doctor, especially if you're experiencing some of these symptoms, to help avoid some of those emergencies.
For sure. Dr. Darian Sutton, thank you so much for breaking this all down for us, man. We just ran through your top searches, but what else is on your timeline? Let's get back to Bethany. Bethany, what else is trending today?
And renewed attention around Prince Harry and Meghan Markle as multiple UK news outlets report the couple has landed in the United Kingdom to begin their extended stay. Of course, people continue to search why the couple is returning to the UK and what it could mean for their relationship with the royal family. And Little Debbie's new treats are sending snack fans down memory lane. Searches are up for the brand's new chocolate collab, but people are also asking which Little Debbie snack is the bestseller, which treats have been discontinued, and perhaps most importantly for nostalgia lovers, what the oldest Little Debbie snack is. And if you ask my kids, it's oatmeal cream pie. It reigns supreme, I will say.
I'm a Swiss rolls guy, Bethany. I'm a Swiss
There
roll.
you
If
go.
you see me at the corner store, I've usually got a Swiss roll on my hip. So I appreciate you, Bethany.
Pick me up an oatmeal cream pie.
I got you, Bethany. Thank you so much. Coming up, one search always leads to another. We've got a trending topic, but that's just the surface. We're talking about the U.S. Open and why some people say they're not just going for the love of the game. We got the spiral. It's coming up next. Welcome back to Search. Today's top searches are only part of the story. A simple scroll can sometimes take you down a deep rabbit hole. It's time now for the spiral. All right, and you guys can't stop asking questions about the U.S. Open, and we're following your clicks and curiosity, and it looks like you guys want to know more about all the events happening and how the tournament has become a social sport. I've got my U.S. Open ball crew shirt on, so let's break it down. We've got our Darcy Main up first, and then Ben Ratter-Howe. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. Let's start with the U.S. Open tennis champions. ESPN senior writer Darcy Main joins me with more. Darcy, appreciate you being here. Let's start with this matchup that everyone seems to be talking about. It didn't technically count, but I know everyone is excited to see them back at the U.S. Open. We have Roger Federer defeating Andy Roddick. I feel like I'm in 2010 saying that, but tell us a little bit about the matchup.
Yeah, they played an exhibition match last night. And of course, Federer is being inducted into the Tennis Hall of Fame this weekend. So one of many, many celebrations for him this week and, of course, forever. It was a great match. They got a huge crowd, a lot of celebrities in attendance. Serena Williams was there. And I think it just speaks to the lingering popularity he still has on the sport, Roddick as well. And people enjoyed the match. It got a lot of publicity and just a great matchup. And it just shows how beloved he remains by his peers and by the fans.
Two legends, and honestly, it looked like they still had it out there. And speaking of legends, I mean, people are also interested.
For one set.
For one set.
Let's be clear.
For one set. That's true. That's true. And speaking of legends, people are also interested in sisters Serena and Venus Williams. They're teaming up after receiving a wildcard bid.
Yeah, that was announced today by the USTA. They will be playing doubles together. They were supposed to play together, of course, at Wimbledon earlier this summer. Serena ended up getting injured, so they had to withdraw from that. So they played their first doubles event together for the first time in nearly 4 years last week in Cincinnati. They lost that first round match, but they played better and better as the match went on. Serena, of course, played mixed doubles yesterday with Carlos Alcaraz. She showed some vintage moments for sure. I think there's a lot of reasons to be excited. And just want to throw out, they've won 14 major titles together, 2 at the U.S. Open. So anything is possible.
Anything is possible. And obviously, Darcy, it's fan week. You can feel the excitement in the air here in New York. So what else are you watching for ahead of Sunday's main draw?
There is so much to watch out for. I don't even really know where to begin. On the women's side, Aryna Sabalenka, the world number 1, that's a little bit in jeopardy, which could make this really interesting. She's the defending champion. and she has held this #1 ranking for almost 100 weeks. However, she hasn't been playing by her standards that well this summer. She's had some struggles. So the #1 ranking is on the line. Elena Rybakina could take it, and then Americans Coco Gauff and Jess Pegula also have a chance to take it, which makes this a really compelling women's tournament. On the men's side, Carlos Alcaraz makes his return. He returned officially yesterday with Serena. He has not played a singles match since April, so we don't fully know how he's going to look. He had, of course, a wrist injury. We're not sure what to expect, but of course, when he's at his best, or even sort of his best, he, of course, will be the top contender. Jannik Sinner will not be playing. But with the question marks around Alcaraz, you have to wonder, could someone else sneak in and win this? Could this be the time for Novak Djokovic to win #25? Could an American break the streak? Andy Roddick, who you mentioned earlier, was the last American man to win a major in 2003, so a long time ago. Could Ben Shelton do it? Could Taylor Fritz do it? Could Frances Tiafoe? They've all shown some great moments this summer on the hard court, so that makes for a really interesting storyline going in, and I think that'll get more and more exciting as the tournament goes on.
No, for sure. And with Jannik Sinner out, obviously it feels like the door is just wide open in the men's bracket. Let's see if an American can pull it out. I feel like we've held out hope the past few years to no avail. But Darcy, thank you so much for joining us. Let's now bring in New York Magazine contributing writer Ben Ryder-Howe. Ben, appreciate you being here. You wrote this piece that I found so funny. It was called The Schmancification of the U.S. Open, where you write about the $800 million Arthur Ashe Stadium renovation, saying it's, quote, doing the same thing as every branch of the hospitality industry by catering to those for whom money is no object, with the most luxurious, most exclusive, most over-the-top experiences imaginable. Do you personally believe the stadium and event are becoming a club for elites, or is the sentiment shared more broadly?
It feels like this year, if you ask around, which I did, that people, longtime Open fans find that it is a different kind of tournament than it used to be. They're having a harder time affording the tickets, and once they get in there, they're finding that the tournament is, the crowds are bigger, and the prices of the drinks and the food, everything's a lot more expensive than it used to be. It should be said that's not stopping people from going. It is still a wildly popular event.
No, you definitely walk out of Arthur Ashe with your pockets feeling significantly lighter whenever you go to the U.S. Open. But Ben, for people watching at home right now, some people are asking themselves, what does schmancification mean? It feels like a level up from fancification. What made you actually use that word when writing the article?
It just seems like there is an even higher level of luxury these days, one that I think people in the past who could who could afford to go to the Open are finding, wow, even I can't afford this anymore. There are a lot of corporate suites at all of these events, and even some of those corporate the people who sit in those boxes down at courtside, they're looking around and they're going, how come I'm not in the very best seats in the house? What are the people next to me getting? Why do I see celebrities sitting somewhere else besides where I am? And you see things like private club style amenities in a lot of these events. So it's really it is new. It's not just the level of luxury that people expected in the past. Some of these amenities are really pretty amazing.
And that schmancification also feels like sort of twofold, right? You talk about the corporatization of the game, but also sort of the Instagram worthiness of the U.S. Open experience, just for the sake of attracting sort of younger fans. Do you think the tournament is succeeding at attracting younger tennis fans, or is the cost making the goal of reaching new demographics sort of clash with actually being able to attend?
I think it is working. I mean, so somebody, a broker who sells tickets to the Open and other tennis events, told me that in the past, people would go to the Open to see Federer or Nadal. Nowadays, people go to these events just to be there. And it's much easier for them, for the brokers, for the people selling tickets, to bring people to the first week of the Open, because people just want to be there, and they want to be seen being there. You have not only this huge surge in people, in influencers, but there's been a very significant change in the number of what the Open calls experience seekers. And these are people who were not maybe huge lifelong tennis fans, but they love live events, and they typically will go from, say, something like the World Cup to this, and then they would go to the NBA Finals or a Taylor Swift concert. And money is no object in a lot of for a lot of these people, and that has really changed. That has changed the tournament and definitely made it younger. I mean, people see this stuff online and they want to be there.
Yeah, for sure. Whether it's for the love of the gram or for the love of the game, the U.S. Open is more popular than ever. Ben Ryder-Howe, thank you so much for joining us. Still ahead, it might be at the top of your feed, but what's the vibe? We've got your top pop culture and entertainment searches with Roxy Diaz, including Tom Selleck's new role. Vibe Check is next. All right, it's time now for our Vibe Check, a look at what's buzzing in entertainment and pop culture. Roxy Diaz is back now for more on what's trending on your feeds. Roxy, what you seeing today?
Well, a giant on the screen and on the stage, Tim Curry's immortal as Dr. Frank Infurter in 1975's The Rocky Horror Picture Show has passed away at 80. A rep for the star actor telling ABC News Curry originated the role on a London stage before it hit Broadway and then the screen, becoming the greatest cult classic of all time. But he was never one note, Ash. Rooster in Annie's, Wadsworth in Clue, a three-time Tony nominee. Also, we know him as Mr. Hector in Home Alone, that trilogy that we all love. And ironically, today is Macaulay Culkin's 46th birthday. So really sad news. And after a 2012 stroke, it left him in a wheelchair. And according to his memoir that was released last year, he refocused on voice work. Don't dream it, be it. Tim Curry lived that line. Now, the WNBA's most talked about courtside moment has consequences. The Chicago Sky has banned former NBA player Enes Kanter Freedom from the Wintrust Arena after security escorted him out on Sunday. He was sitting courtside with a shirt that said woman, noun, an adult human, female, when Sky guard Natasha Cloud confronted him during a timeout. After being removed, Kanter Freedom posted on social media saying, "I just got kicked out of a WNBA game for supporting women. Let that sink in, America." Now, owner Michael Alter says Kanter Freedom started it and that he has demonstrated to us unequivocally that he has the potential to be a threat. It follows his increasingly political turn and includes he recently declaring himself eligible to play in the WNBA. Now, gamers, clear out your Thursday. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, Netflix is set to premiere Grand Theft Auto 6, an extended look exclusively for members. It's the first of its kind partnership with Rockstar Games. The game is brand new. It arrives 13 years after GTA 5, following Jason and Lucia through the criminal conspiracy across the state of Linodia. The game drops November 19th. If your feed goes quiet tomorrow afternoon, you know exactly why. And last but not least, Magnum is back. Tom Selleck is returning to television 2 years after Blue Bloods. He's set to guest star in Elizabeth Banks' upcoming Apple TV comedy alongside Ted Danson and Katie Sagal. Now, the series follows Heidi Fresh off of a messy divorce until she gets pulled into coordinating her father's retirement community dating life. Selleck's character and the show's title are still under wraps. But after 14 seasons as Frank Reagan, that mustache returning to the screen, that's kind of a cool thing, Ash.
Hey, what a big deal for Tom Selleck. Big congrats to him. But also, Rox, I am so excited for GTA 6. I feel like I waited my whole adult life for this game. Y'all aren't going to see me for like a week when that game comes out.
You better be at work tomorrow, that's all I'm saying.
You already know I will be. Thank you, Roxy. All right, I'm Ashin Singh, and this is Search on ABC News Live, where your questions meet real answers. We'll leave you with what's trending right now on abcnews.com. You can scan that QR code right there to catch up, and I'm going to see you back here tomorrow. Be safe.